There is a silence that speaks louder than noise, a discipline born in the fire of restraint. And the truly intelligent man, the man who walks in step with the wisdom of the Stoics, knows this. Not everything that can be said must be spoken. Words are power, and power, if misused, becomes poison. In a world addicted to noise, to reaction, to the ego's constant scream, there is one man who stands still, not because he is weak, but because he has mastered himself. That man is you. Or he can be, if you learn what not to say. We live in a time where speech is cheap and silence is feared, where every emotion is broadcasted and every opinion demands to be heard. But if Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome and servant of Stoic philosophy, taught us anything, it is this. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. And nothing reveals how little control a man has over himself than the words he carelessly utters. So today, we descend into the sacred stillness of Stoic wisdom. Together, we will explore 7 things an intelligent man, a truly Stoic man, never says. And in their absence, we find not weakness, but the strength to rule oneself. 1. It's not my fault. These are the words of a slave, not to a master, but to his own excuses. The Stoics taught that while we cannot always control what happens, we are always responsible for how we respond. Epictetus, who was born into slavery, said, "It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." An intelligent man never blames circumstances, fate, or others. He understands that every obstacle is a test of character. Even injustice becomes an opportunity to rise above. To say, "It's not my fault," is to say, "I am powerless." But we are not, and you are not. You were made for the storm. 2. I deserve better. Desire breeds expectation, and expectation births suffering. Seneca once warned, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." To say, "I deserve better," is to claim entitlement to a world that owes you nothing. Life is indifferent. The universe is vast, cold, and unconcerned with your comfort. And yet, here you are, breathing, thinking, becoming. The intelligent man seeks excellence, not because he feels entitled to reward, but because he seeks mastery of self. He replaces entitlement with gratitude, ambition with discipline, and replaces deserving with earning. 3. This always happens to me. This is the anthem of the victim. It is a chant of surrender, a narrative that feeds on your spirit. The Stoics knew the danger of patterns not in reality but in perception. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you will not feel harmed." Intelligent men never narrate their lives as tragedies. They do not assign meaning to pain that weakens them. Instead, they transmute suffering into fuel. What repeats is not fate, but your reaction to it. Break the pattern. Rewrite the story. You are not the victim. You are the author. 4. I cannot handle this. The instant these words leave your mouth, they shape your reality. But the Stoic understands that resilience is not a gift, it is a choice, forged through hardship. When life presses against us, when the weight seems unbearable, we recall the words of Epictetus. Difficulties are what show men's character. You have survived every storm up to this point. What makes you think this one will break you? An intelligent man says nothing when overwhelmed. He breathes, he plans, and he persists, because fear is loud, but courage is silent. 5. People never change. To say this is to lock the world in a prison of your own bitterness. A Stoic does not predict failure in others, nor does he surrender his belief in human growth. Seneca reminds us, while we wait for life, life passes. We must not waste it judging others as immovable. To do so is to excuse ourselves from evolving. The intelligent man speaks life into transformation, not naively, but with the understanding that change begins with himself. Cynicism is easy, wisdom is costly, and belief, quiet, enduring belief, is the mark of a man who leads by example. 6. That's just who I am. This phrase is the grave of potential. It signals the death of responsibility and the birth of stagnation. A Stoic never defines himself by his past or his flaws. He is always in motion, always becoming. Like the river that carves stone, he shapes his fate by persistence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. We are not fixed. We are fluid." The intelligent man does not hide behind identity. He builds it, one disciplined act at a time. 7. What will they think? This is the question that kills empires before they rise. The Stoics taught that approval is fleeting, but virtue endures. To live by the opinions of others is to place your soul in chains. Epictetus posed a greater question: who is your master? He who has authority over any of the things upon which you have set your heart. An intelligent man sets his heart on character, not reputation. He walks the path alone if he must, but never bows for applause. His compass is internal. His mission is unshaken. He knows that legacy is not built in the spotlight, but in the shadows of quiet resolve. So we return to the silence, to the sacred stillness where real power lives, not in noise, not in reaction, not in the cheap currency of words, but in action, measured, silent, eternal. We do not say, "I am wise." We live with wisdom. We do not say, "I am unbreakable." We bend with grace, and we rise. We do not say, "I am better." We say nothing and become better. This is the path, not of pride, but of discipline, not of noise, but of mastery. The Stoics lived in times darker than ours, plague, exile, betrayal, war, and still they stood firm, unshaken, because they understood the ultimate truth. You cannot control the world, but you can control yourself. And sometimes that begins by saying nothing at all.